Welcome back to the Alchemist Nation podcast. My name is Walter Murillo, and I am hanging out with people all across the country who are real estate professionals inside and out of the business. But today I get to spend some time with a special friend, Trent Reynolds, who is crushing it in Denver. He actually bought a convention center a while back, and I've just got to find out what he's been doing. He's thinking about shifting his market. So without further ado, Trent Reynolds, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you so much. Really happy to be here, and congratulations on your podcast and meetups and your boot camps. You're crushing it. And so thank you very much for having me.
Thanks, brother. Yeah, the podcast is the fun part, but the boot camps are like the double fun part. We get to all get together, hang out, and we choose warm locations. So it's been a blast. But I saw a post you made on Facebook. You're working on a new project. You got something new going on.
I do. For about a year now, last September, I have two other partners, JT and Dan, and we've been working on disrupting the commercial lending and business arena. And so we're in development right now, and it's going to be a commercial and business lending platform utilizing artificial intelligence, and therefore kind of keeping everyone accountable and cutting the funding process in half.
So you got me at artificial intelligence. I want to come back to this. That is one of my favorite things to think about because that's the future. But before we get into it, you were buying real estate pretty heavily in Denver. Like you're living in the Denver market. I know you're in the Denver market right now, and you're going deep into it. What have you been doing over the last year? Like what, I know you bought the convention center. How is the convention center going? Are we doing events there? Are we going to be doing some Alchemist events at that center yet? Or
so I had a tenant, and during COVID, I lost that tenant. So now I'm in the process of renovation, and I have a couple new tenants, and I'm revamping the kind of the business model with a culinary kitchen and a tap room, and then some mead being brewed, and event center as well. So it's going to be kind of an interesting project as well. But yeah.
That's badass. So sorry to hear you lost a tenant, but it sounds like it's actually going to turn into a better opportunity. So Trent, how did you get started in real estate? Because you don't just buy event centers.
Sure. Yeah. Well, so I always wanted to be entrepreneurial, but I also was in Bloomington, Indiana, and for undergrad. And the only job, my friends were still in school, and I wanted to hang out a little bit longer. So I was a mortgage broker. Then I became a lender, then commercial lender in Denver, and then the economy shut down. Went back to grad school for development, and then I started flipping houses. From houses, I started splitting lots, doing small development, and now I've been syndicating apartment buildings the last year and a half, 2 years, and now getting into the development and Lenco as far as the lending aspect.
That's wild. So you didn't start out as a real estate investor. You actually started out in a completely different left field, not completely different. Like you did deal with the money side of things, but you were doing residential and you shifted to commercial. How does a paper person end up doing projects? How does somebody who's just crunching numbers end up doing projects and deals?
Well, deals in general are all based on numbers, right? So you have to you just pretty much you make the connections, right? Everything is all about networking. And then you find out how to get the properties, and you just run the numbers, and you make sure that all your contractors and everything and try to stick on budget. And that's the biggest thing. So you can always find investors. I remember my first couple of deals, I always brought in investors, and I would split the deal with them. And that got me going. And then afterwards, there's multiple ways to fund your projects. So once you just kind of get educated and find out what other people have done in the past to get started, you just recreate it or do it again, not recreate it, do it again, and then run the numbers. So numbers are real estate. So
yeah,
they coincide pretty healthy.
It's funny because a lot of the guys who tell me they want to be in real estate, they're like, oh yeah, I'm really handy. I'm a contractor, I'm a plumber, I'm an electrician. I'm like, dude, like you're screwed, right? Like, you got to go do this the hard way then. Because somebody who comes from the mortgage background, I was an accountant. So somebody who comes from a numbers background has the advantage because they're not going to go try to swing the hammer and save a couple pennies. How do you think that's given you an advantage over the past few years?
Well, I do want to say though, I did swing the hammer because I have always been brought up to be very frugal, and starting off, it's very difficult to be, paying everyone and being like, man, I could probably do that pretty fast. So I learned all the trades. I hired someone to work with me full time. He taught me all the trades. I hired my friends. And the one thing it helped me to understand what everyone is doing. However, it takes away time and ultimately money. So you don't want to do the work yourself. It's not a good idea. And it's better to just get more and more projects. Um, I did not answer your question though. Can you please rephrase that?
No, you did. I think okay, so yeah, the unfair advantage, like how do you get that unfair advantage? By the way,
Oh, the
since you brought
numbers.
it up, like I did the same thing. I started off, I learned everything. I did all the trades myself in my house, and eventually I got to the point where I said, man, like this is not scalable, and I've created a job, so I had to start hiring out. So what is the unfair advantage that you get from having seen the numbers side first?
Right. Well, the one thing is you make sure that you get all the calculations correct, and then you also think about the loss of time and money. So if you, the biggest thing I think for people just starting out is they forget about all the costs associated with selling the property, and then put contingencies in there for anything that is uncovered as you go. And then also the fact that if you do the work yourself, it's probably going to be slower, and then your opportunity cost is a lot higher. Ultimately, you end up losing more money because you could have been working on getting more projects, finding more funding, and growing instead of saving the dollars. So I think your mindset when you start thinking all numbers is taking into account all the opportunity costs as well. So
I like that.
I think that kind of helps a little bit more, is understanding all the numbers.
Yeah, you're right, because I know some successful investors who have never sold one of their properties, get to the selling phase, and they're just like, what do you mean there's commissions? What do you mean there's I got to go fix something now? And the notch just keeps coming down. So have going into it with already those numbers calculated on the sale, if you did flip it, you're like, okay, I know what this
Mhm.
is. So let me ask, do you do rentals? Do you do flips? What does your portfolio look like?
Sure. So for the first 7 years, I did flips, and I needed the money. And then every once in a while, if there was a big project where I split the lots, created two properties, if there was like a little garage in the back that could be a house, then you split the lots and everything. If you're going to make a good amount of money, you might keep it as a rental for a year or two, save on the normal income tax, the long term capital gains. But so I did that along the way, and then I have some short term rentals which I enjoyed as well. But now for me, since I'm going more into the tech side, and then also looking at some helping with some bigger developments, I'm kind of liquidating most of my properties right now, other than my multifamily. The multifamily is nice and it's kind of more hands off and allows me to spend more time on other projects.
Nice. And how many units in that multifamily?
So I'm a partial equity owner of, I think it's 340.
Nice, nice. So are you an LP, GP? Who ran that project?
GP on, there's 5 different projects.
Nice.
So
Very cool, man.
yeah,
So you got out of the single families, got out of the flips, you're selling everything off, liquidating, you got a more passive investment, and you're shifting down to Texas to be in the tech sector. What part of Texas? And I ask because Dorina and I have been really looking at Austin. We're in Tampa right now. We're building
okay,
our real estate business here, but our technology company or our education company is more on the tech side, and we want to get
yeah.
around all those young, students, entrepreneurs. So I have a feeling you're in the same thinking. Where are you going? What's your goal for Texas?
Kind of, and I think you're right with Austin. However, we are going to be just north of Fort Worth, Dallas, in the South Lake Keller area, Colleyville kind of area. So we want to do a little bit of lake life. And my whole believing throughout life is envision your lifestyle, go and live where you want to do or where you want to live, and create the lifestyle you want, and then figure out how to fund it. And
Yeah.
so we just want to do some lake life, and we have some family down there, and so just try something new. That's kind of what we like to do.
Yeah, I like that. I like the Dallas Fort Worth area. There's a lot of good real estate deals out there too, so you'll have fun with it. I know the market's getting hotter than it was in the past, but it's not as
Yeah,
hot as Austin. So you still got, at
yeah.
least it's not that.
I mean, yeah, it's crazy, but I'm sure Austin's insane. But that's only 2 hours away, so we'll have to visit each other.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah,
no commitment yet. I'm in Tampa for the next
yeah.
year. I've committed to this. I've got to build my real estate business again down here, but it's on the horizon. So you talked about tech, you talked about IT. You obviously spent a ton of time in mortgages. You've done the development, so you have a really good understanding of both sides of the business. What made you say I'm smart enough to get into the IT world, into artificial intelligence?
Sure, sure. So my partners have some similar backgrounds and can bring some different aspects to the table as far as connections with brokers and lenders, since they've done commercial lending recently. And I did mine more like, 10 years ago. But, with all the connections as far as my investor side, we can bring the right people together. And what we realized though over time and is we both had different pain points, a lot of similar pain points too, as most of you investors would probably know, as you would too, is the commercial lending process is it's kind of it's kind of broken. I mean, there's a lot of room for improvement. So I've had a lot of issues refinancing my properties in this last year, especially during COVID. Yep. And I've heard it a lot with my friends, is because terms change all the time, criteria changes all the time with all the lenders. The lenders are really busy and a lot of them spend too much time underwriting deals that they can't do. And
Yeah.
so there's brokers are getting, upset with lenders, lenders are upset with brokers, borrowers, brokers, everyone has a disconnect. Everyone wants to blame someone else for how long it takes, right? And one thing that really sucks is, when I'm waiting, when I think a refinance is going to happen in October and then it happens the beginning of the year, next year, there's a lot of opportunity costs and it's a lot of holdover costs and everything. And
Yeah.
so what our system really does is it ties everyone together, it keeps everyone accountable, and it keeps everything super transparent. So then with that, it allows, borrowers to do one application and will filter and do all the applications for you. So if one lender can't do it, it goes to the next, right? And you get to filter out everything on what you want as far as balloons, rate, prepayment penalty, and it only sets you with lenders that exactly want to do your loan after you put all the stuff into the system. And so then whenever it's anyone's turn, they're going to know that it's their turn. So if they need something from you, you get a text being like, hey, get on it right now. So everyone's held accountable, everyone benefits because business development costs are lower. You get your target market avatar for your customer or client. And ultimately, everyone's happier because deals are done faster with less resources.
So anybody who's listening, like if you have never done a commercial loan, then you may not understand the process here. But like the residential guys listening to this, like don't know what this problem is because basically everything kind of fits in one box in residential. But when you get to the commercial side, they will literally take 60 days to underwrite your deal and then tell you they can't close or that the terms have changed to now you've got to bring 40% down payment and we're going to do a 5-year maintenance yield or 4.5 months maintenance yield and you're going to have to pay 2 points to get this interest rate that we told you we were going to get earlier. And it's just a massive waste of time. In fact, Ron and I just went through Trent, so it's fresh in my head. We started a refi in February last year, and we closed it in February this year. We closed it early in this year. It took us a year. 6 different lenders went through a whole process to find the right person who could actually do it. So it wasn't a very easy process. If I'd known, hey, you're not going to be able to swing the deal, I wouldn't have gone to them. I would have just gone to the next person. And then you talk about the personal financial statements. It's a pain in the ass. Every single time we get a new lender, we got to fill it out on their form. It's like, dude, like it's all the same. Can I just give you this one?
And it's not an easy application because you always have to update your PFS on their PFS, which is personal financial statement. You have the application, you have everything, and everything changes a little bit every month,
Yeah.
especially when you have all this other stuff going on. So it can take almost a day to fill out everything and get it directly to the lender. And it automatically, or it's really just wasting the lender's time, you, the borrower, and the broker, if there's a broker involved as well, because everyone's trying to get the deal done, but it just, when it takes so long and you go through the whole process, there's just so much wasted time and money.
Yeah,
So,
I agree. This is a huge problem in the market, especially in the commercial market. I see this as a huge opportunity. Who is your target demographic? So once you get it started, 2 questions. All right. When will this be available? When will this be done and available? And how would people find out about it?
sure. Yeah. So we do have a website on Facebook, Lunco, and the website is almost done. We do have a Facebook site or a site for Lunco and LinkedIn. The working prototype will be in September, so beta will start happening probably late August to September. And if you're a vendor, say a credit repair, wealth management, property manager, appraiser, title, those can all be on the system. And then we have, title companies. And then also what's great is instead of having just our own sales team, we're going to allow a lot of people to make money through affiliate marketing. So we are going to give all the marketing aspects, and you can get subscription model through brokers being on board, you get paid monthly, and then you could get a piece of loan that closes and so forth. We are going to be at the broker conference in Vegas in October. And
Nice.
we're sponsoring part of that. And yeah, so we should be live. We'll be live in October and beta in September.
So definitely let me know when the broker conference is in Las Vegas. I definitely want to be out there. What is the date? Do you know?
Yeah, I think it's the 26th to the 28th.
26th to the 28th, October, Las Vegas Lenders. I like it.
Caesar's Palace. Yep.
Caesar's Palace. That's my spot, man. 26th to the 28th. Cool. Because I got an event running literally the 22nd to the 24th. So we can finish up in Orlando. We'll finish the 100 Millionaire Summit and fly over to meet all the lenders. That's where the money's at. I'll support you. Take selfies. So Trent, now that you've got this coming out, you've got this opportunity. Who is your target market? Who are you looking to serve? Like who would find this? And I know, commercial investors would be like any investor who's buying more than 5 units at a time is somebody who's interested. How do you plan on marketing and getting in front of them?
Yeah, so the target market, it's different for every user, right? So we have the affiliates, so people that just want to make money online and want to kind of be free. So that's a certain market. And then we have the commercial investors, and then we have small business and business loans. So anyone that has a small business that needs a business loan as well. So it's not a specific target market. And then we have brokers and vendors, right? So we're kind of bringing everyone together. And then also we're not targeting a certain type because we're having thousands of lenders on this platform. And we're going to have all the criteria, and so we know exactly what they want, but we'll essentially be able to fund all those deals. In addition to private equity, family offices, and joint ventures offered through the platform. So if the deal can't get done by yourself, then we put you in touch with others that will give an equity injection in order to get the deal done. So that is kind of our claim to fame, is we want to cut the funding process time in half, and we want to allow you the best possible possibility to get the deal done, whether with other people or yourself.
I like that. So as a personal lender, like I could just go in and put my terms. I could say, hey, I want 20% of a deal, or I want 12% interest for X amount of time.
So yeah, as far as the private equity goes, then you have an onboarding, and it goes with all your criteria. You can also plug into our platform so that we can see historical loans and what you exactly like to lend on.
Trent, this sounds like something that my entire community would love to use. So I'm getting an affiliate link. You hook me up when that thing comes out.
That's what's great is, so we plan on getting the ClickFunnels community, the Groove funnels. We have all these funnel hackers or funnel software, and so there's a lot of big following with that. And I know the ClickFunnels community is pretty big, and I've been involved in that. And so we want to give people the opportunity to bring other brokers on, bring other vendors on, help people that are doing our contractors and so forth get more business and be more stable. And then also just help the investors. So I'm going to be speaking at different investor events and try to partner with other influencers to help my investor friends. And then also we have all social media and PR that we're going to do to get other affiliates involved as well.
Oh, you did it now. Are you on TikTok, Trent? Have you gotten on TikTok?
No, I need to. Are you? Are you?
Bro, I am crushing the TikTok game.
Are you really? Are you dancing?
I don't dance. I'm not a dancer. No, I've actually just got my first 12,000 view post last night. Doreen and I were celebrating. She's like, I got off a mastermind at 8 o'clock, and then we were looking at that video and it was like 1,200 views. So I was like, babe, this is amazing. I'm celebrating 1,200 views, right? An hour later, we look, it's 5,000 views. And she looks at me and I look at her and I'm like, oh my God, we're crushing it. And then this morning I looked, 21,000 views.
No way.
So TikTok is not like I made the same exact post on Instagram and Facebook, and they didn't give me shit for, new people or new faces. Yeah. TikTok's like, here you go. Like everybody should see this. So just saying, good opportunity.
That's awesome. You weren't wearing all neon outfits doing crazy stunts.
Bro, all I said is the lumber prices have dropped, 800 points. The real estate crash is coming, by the dip, which It's only a sign that potentially a correction may be coming.
Yeah.
But on Facebook, I got like 26 comments. On TikTok, I got like 400 comments.
That's crazy.
It's insane.
It's super insane.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a lot of real estate people on TikTok yet.
No.
Yeah, killing it.
Trent, we could be there. We could do this.
Yeah, right,
We could dominate the TikTok market.
Sweet.
Anyway, I digress. So I want to wrap this up, but I want to do it in a special way like I always do. And since I know you've been through so much over your life, if you could go back, if somebody's listening to this and they're 20 years old, or maybe they're 40 years old and they just really want to get on the right trajectory faster. If you go back to 20-year-old Trent and give yourself 3 pieces of advice, what 3 pieces of advice would you give yourself to get you to where you are, happy and successful?
Well, I would say 1 is always network. Your network is huge, and you never know. I mean, with both Lenco and then some of the branded home development stuff that I'm doing I met them through people that I met. And even giving away chairs one day, I met one of the developers I'm working with. So you never know who you're going to meet, and you never know who they know. And so always work hard on continuously networking and throwing yourself out there. 2 is figure out what lifestyle that you want and never lose passion about that, and never give up and never settle. Because the biggest thing for me is, I could have easily just gone and gotten a job after grad school, but I knew I really wanted a certain lifestyle that only myself could create as an entrepreneur. And there's always ups and downs, but if you always have that passion, you always push through it, good things will happen. And then
I like that.
3 is you got to continuously keep learning. And so whether that's a mentor, which I highly recommend, or continuously going to boot camps and meetups and meeting other people to learn from others along the way, in addition to just reading books and continuously learning your field and specialization, because that's also going to help you in your networking, because you have more to talk about and you pull more information out of each person, so then you can connect them and ultimately create a business that you didn't even know you were going to.
I like that. It's huge value. And if you take action on what Trent just said, all 3 of those are factors that will make you successful. Work hard, make sure that you're networking often, and get yourself somebody who's already done it. A mentor, get coaches, surround yourself with peers, be at networking events, masterminds. Thank you for listening. If you can go to the iTunes and hit Alchemist Nation podcast, write a good review. It helps more people hear about the podcast, helps more people learn the process and potentially be partners of yours in the future. But let's get this podcast out to as many ears as possible by writing a positive review. You really do a part of the mission. We're on a mission to build 100 millionaires. That's 100 people who are inspired to go and build 100 millionaires. Trent Reynolds, you are an alchemist. How can people get in touch with you if they want to learn more about your projects?
Sure. You can email me at trentareynolds.com. That's REYNOLDS.com. Or you can text me at 812-391-3434. Whoa. I know. I can't believe
Whoa, you put your number out there. So I apologize in advance, Trent.
Oh, no.
All right. Cheers to your success. We have a choice. Always work with the best.